I'm not either. And I even think running backs too, because we've seen like them go out and get some really solid transfer running backs. And I guess that's a good transition to talking about the running backs. I mean, to my point there, saw Marshawn Lloyd 2 years ago come over from South Carolina. He was incredible for USC. He's getting playing time with the Packers now. Then last year, I mean, the recruiting, yeah. I mean, he's getting snaps.
Yeah, he will.
If he's behind Josh Jacobs, it's tough to gets one of the running back, one of the best running backs in the NFL. And then of course last year Woody Marks, who was a dual threat running back, could catch the ball, could run, had a great speed and power. I mean, one of the most dynamic running backs I've seen at USC.
Phenomenal season,
yeah, incredible year. Of course, it was really kind of heartbreaking to see Quentin Joyner go. However, USC went ahead and brought in some good prospects, one of which was the best JUCO player in all of junior college, not just running backs, but he won basically the Heisman for the equivalent in the JUCO level, and that's Wayon Jordan. And I think he's a very exciting prospect. Of course, Eli Sanders coming over from New Mexico State, I believe, and then New Mexico, and then you retain Brian Jackson. And then you still have Riley Wormley, who is a true freshman. I doubt he's going to get much time this year. But those three, and we saw Brian Jackson in that Texas A&M game really shine. I mean, he didn't have like the flashiest numbers in that game, but again, in a game that really mattered.
It was like 16 for 66 and a touchdown is very solid.
Yeah, and I mean, he's more of a power back too. So it's you saw him it was really stuff off the stat sheet that impressed me. I mean, you saw him pushing through holes. There was blown blocks that he would still find a way through. And I think that was really exciting. But let's talk about Wayon Jordan, because I think he's the guy who everybody has their eyes on right now. Not the biggest guy, but he's 5'9", 209. So he's got a big, bulky frame. Again, he was at the JUCO ranks, had some visits with UCF previously, but he's coming over to USC. And I mean, what are your thoughts on the pickup? Of course, he was a 3-star prospect originally, but just it's JUCO translating to college. What are your sort of thoughts on him as a prospect?
Yeah, I mean, this was brought up a lot in our very first show a couple of weeks ago, just this guy's talent, because we were thinking like a committee. We both agree. Cut me off if I'm speaking for you. We both agree that if anyone's going to come out as the lead back, it's going to be Wayon Jordan. I mean, the talent is very clearly there. He averaged 134 rushing yards per game. He had 20 touchdowns in 12 games, was it? He's clearly very talented, and we just got to see that translate to the next level. I'm not going to ask him to come out here and rush for 1,600 yards in his first year in D1. That being said, I think he totally could be an explosive enough player to make it to that. Am I crazy to say 1,000 yards?
I don't think you're crazy. No. I mean, I think it depends on, again, does Lincoln Riley want to go with the approach of throwing the ball 50 times per game, or is he going to rely on some of his running backs? Because you don't have a Woody Marks, right? Like, again, we don't know what Waymon's going to be like. We knew how good Woody Marks was. That's the only difference. And also, call me crazy as well, but Wayon Jordan's going to be a junior this year, I believe, and this will be his first year at college. Like, I don't think it's obviously transfer portal permitting, but I don't think it's crazy to say that he could have 2 years at USC. And I don't think that would be the worst thing. I mean, I think especially if he's good, he is a guy who could go to the NFL if he shines. But again, I mean, I think maybe some scouts would question him only going 1 year at the D1 college level just because he is a JUCO prospect. But he's the number 7 according to ESPN JUCO prospect, and then the number 1 running back. Of course, I don't think that's up for any contention. And yeah, he was the D1, or excuse me, the National Junior College Association Football Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, just a ton of accolades on his part. And I think him in a tandem with Eli Sanders could really provide that 1-2 punch. I feel like we didn't see that much with Quentin Joyner last year, just because Quentin Joyner some games just wouldn't get a lot of snaps. I felt like, when he did, I mean, that Penn State game was incredible. That was his best game of his career. And, we just didn't see it. He was kind of on and off.
Look, Quentin Joyner was incredibly explosive, and it's really frustrating that he didn't see the field as much as he did with USC. I mean, one of my biggest gripes with Lincoln Riley is that I didn't think he ran the ball enough. I mean, Woody Marks was fantastic. Quentin Joyner, if Woody's not having a great game, he's a guy who can rip off a 75-yard run like it was that reverse pass versus Penn State, or is it Notre Dame? Which one am I thinking about?
I think you're thinking Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. I'm 90% sure it's Notre Dame. Where he rips off a long run. Look, I was frustrated we didn't see that. I think a committee to start for these two, for Eli Sanders and Wayon Jordan and Brian Jackson too, is smart. That being said, I don't know if you've seen a bunch of this. There's not really a receiving back in this backfield. Have you really seen it? Because obviously Woody, longest streak in it wasn't NCAA history of running back with most receptions, was it?
I mean, he had like 50 games in a row with one.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lloyd was a decent receiving back too, and then obviously year before that, how am I blanking on his name? Transfer from Oregon. Whatever. Who am I forgetting? Ty. Oh, this is gonna frustrate me all night. Whatever. Anyways, there's no true receiving back on this team. I don't know if you've seen their stats. Eli Sanders had 134. Wayon Jordan had like 30 or 40 last year. There's none of these guys really catch it out of the backfield much, which kind of concerns me because Woody Marks was always that safety valve for Miller Moss, for Jade Mayava. Who is going to step up? Obviously, we talked a little bit about Lake McCree last week being that safety valve.
Hear me out.
You need one of those running backs too as well.
Hear me out, because I agree. I mean, I just looked at Eli Sanders' stats. You're right. I mean, he only had 15 receptions last year, which was a career high. He also rushed for 1,000 yards. Incredible season for Eli Sanders. I mean, 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, averaging over 7 yards a carry is incredible. Hear me out, though. I think Xavier Jordan could be a really good safety valve. I think he's a guy who, he's young, he's unpredictable, he's not very big, but I think he's a guy who, we know Lincoln Riley likes to roll those pre-snap movements and kind of trick the opposition sometimes. If all else fails, I'm not saying have it your first choice, but maybe, line up him on the edge, have him do a screen or make, have him come out of the backfield. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, kind of like a Deebo Samuel type.
I was 49ers fan. I was thinking, are you going to play him out of the backfield? Because I'm not opposed to that. Don't get me wrong. I'm opposed. I will try anything. Yeah, whatever. I love those quick plays. You can see that. I wouldn't be, like I said, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think having a receiving back, because I was thinking about Brian Jackson too. I mean, he's a big guy. I don't see him making a lot of movement off the edge, in a situation like that. Maybe he can prove us wrong. I don't know too much about Riley Wormley. And also, I think him as a true freshman, I don't see him getting that much time. No. But I don't know. I think it's not a necessity per se, because you have to remember that, last year, I feel like Miller Moss needed that safety valve.
Yeah. Because
he couldn't run very well. But now with Mayava having a full season of him, again, it would be nice to have that. But with him having the ability to dance outside the pocket, I wouldn't mind just having that instead. Again, though, you'd like to have a receiving back just to be a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah. Just to be to be unpredictable, to have someone who you can rely on if everything goes to hell. That's what a receiving back should be. That's what the good ones are. They are creative. They're crafty out of the backfield once they get it in either a pass or a run. But they're also there to make a play if no one is open downfield. That's what all the good ones. McCaffrey. That's what. Why can't they? Alvin Kamara. That's what all those guys are good at.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. By the way, for all you in the chat, if you want to leave any of your thoughts, and again, make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. And we love to hear from you guys as well. We got one little critique of Zachariah Branch here. So
you get that a lot though, and it's a very fair critique. Travis Dye, thank you. Oh my gosh, that was going to bug me all night. Thank you very much. I may as well, because we didn't really talk about this when it came up. We've talked about it before. Zachariah Branch, obviously the receiver breakdown last week. He did have no hands. That plagued him. He should have had a lot more than one touchdown, probably at least 4 to 5. I'm remembering 2 particularly where it was super easy drops that were in the end zone. But I think it's very possible he goes off at Georgia because they don't really also have a true wide receiver one. Whereas USC, obviously, Lemon, Lane, they are true wide receivers.